All right, I'm on my way to the Dolphin Club here in San Francisco. Going to go for a swim. Have to maximize time because Jim Harbaugh is returning to the NFL. The former 49ers head coach, the former Stanford head coach, has reportedly been hired by the Los Angeles Chargers, defending national champion, University of Michigan. So Jim Harbaugh has won everywhere that he's been. I covered him back at Stanford. That was back in the OG Harbaugh coach days, right after the University of San Diego. And now he is going to be coaching the Los Angeles Chargers. Breaking news, Adam Schefter was the one who I saw tweeted first. By the way, we're driverless car mode right now on our way up to the Dolphin Club. I'm sure Jim Harbaugh would get a kick out of one of these. Well, we had to really slow down for the beer truck. See, we're squeezing through. Making it through. There we go. Good job, Casper, as we move forward. So, Harbaugh to the Chargers. No, the 49ers do not have the Chargers on their schedule next year. They played the Chargers last season, won at Levi's Stadium. Next year, maybe the Super Bowl. It's possible. Maybe the 49ers are going to be going for a repeat, and guess who will be standing in their way? Jim Harbaugh. It's possible. It's totally possible that Jim Harbaugh is standing in the 49ers' way. But let's not forget how successful he was in his first NFL go-round. Jim Harbaugh went 44-19-1 as the San Francisco 49ers coach. That won the tie. That was a famous game. I was at that game. I wasn't covering the team yet, but I was at that game. It was in 2012. It was against the Rams at Candlestick, and everybody left that stadium feeling empty. Nobody knew what to feel. Like, what are you supposed to feel when a team ties? But the reason I say it was a famous game is because that's the game during which Alex Smith suffered the concussion, and Colin Kaepernick came in, and Colin Kaepernick did not give the job back to Alex Smith. And that obviously became one of the defining moves of the Jim Harbaugh era with the 49ers. But 44-19-1. An even better winning percentage over the first 3 years. The last season, I think they went 8-8, right? It was a 500 season. Things started to fall off the rails. Harbaugh and Trent Baalke, the general manager at the time for the 49ers, didn't get along. You look now at what the 49ers have built with Shanahan and Lynch, and Jed York, I think, has obviously matured as an owner. You look now at the cohesion that the 49ers have at the top, and that's a big, big part of their success in the present day. I wrote about it. I did the big interview with John Lynch and the vision statement, obviously. That was last week, right? That one came out before the 49ers played the Packers. And Jim Harbaugh did a phenomenal job as the 49ers head coach, but they didn't have the cohesion at the top between him and Trent Baalke that Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch have right now, and I think that's significant. Mike, can you text me what you just texted me again? I didn't quite see it. I can't see texts if they disappear on me there over a 3 or 4 second stretch. But Mike is feeding me some information. Harbaugh led the Michigan program to an 89-25 record over his time there. So he went to Michigan right after he parted ways with the 49ers. That was 2015 was his first season in Michigan. It's hard to believe it's been almost a decade since then. Isn't that crazy? 49ers have been through a lot of head coaches since Jim Harbaugh. First, it was Chip Kelly, who Harbaugh played against when he was the coach of Stanford, and Kelly was at Oregon. First it was Jim Tomsula. Then it was Chip Kelly. So you went Tomsula, Kelly, Shanahan being the third coach after Jim Harbaugh. But Harbaugh, he was the only coach in Michigan for all that time. You know, what's funny is that Harbaugh at every level prior to Michigan had QB whisperer types of results. University of San Diego. Josh Johnson was Harbaugh's quarterback at the University of San Diego, the same Josh Johnson who suffered the concussion in the NFC Championship game. I love these trolleys. I'm on Market Street in San Francisco. There's no driver in this car. Thankfully, this trolley has a driver. It wouldn't be good if this trolley didn't have a driver. But San Francisco will roll these trolleys down Market Street, and they're decorated to resemble historic trolleys from different cities around the world, mostly from America. This particular trolley right here, from Chicago. You know why you could tell? Look at the logo, CTA, that's Chicago Transit Authority. So this type of trolley used to roll down the street in Chicago. You can see another one right here. Let's see what city this one is from. Brooklyn. That one used to be in Brooklyn. This one used to be in Chicago. We're going to pass the one that used to, there's the Chicago logo. Boom. So, nice trolley. Now we make the turn onto Franklin. And, well, I mean, every time we make a turn, I got to show you the wheel, right? This car knows what it's doing. So, anyway, Jim Harbaugh had been a quarterback whisperer at every single step of this. Josh Johnson, who later played for the 49ers, and I think 2 separate stints with the 49ers. So, he had one last season, unfortunately, concussed in the NFC Championship game, but Josh Johnson was Harbaugh's quarterback at the University of San Diego. Then Harbaugh went to Stanford, and in his very first year at Stanford, he called out Pete Carroll. And this was Pete Carroll in his prime at USC that Jim Harbaugh was calling out. He said something about USC's recruiting practices. I forgot what it was exactly. But Pete Carroll basically told Harbaugh through the media that Harbaugh needs to mind his own business. And Harbaugh said, and this was when his team was coming off of a 1-11 record. So Stanford wasn't good at all. Harbaugh inherited a terrible team. Harbaugh said, we bowed an O man and we bowed an O program at Stanford University. And there was a frat at Stanford, I think it was Sigma Nu, that literally had a banner unfurled from their balcony on the main frat row that said, we bowed an O man, we bowed an O program at Stanford University. It was that kind of bravado that Jim Harbaugh brought to his coaching that I think he brings everywhere to his coaching that allows him to turn things around quickly. Like every single place that Jim Harbaugh has gone to has turned it around quickly. And Stanford played USC that year as massive 41-point underdogs in the Coliseum, and Harbaugh's team beat them 24-23. I'm panning over to San Francisco City Hall right now. We got one more block before City Hall. Premature. One more block. Later tonight, City Hall is going to be lit up in red and gold for the 49ers. But the work that Harbaugh did to oversee that upset at USC in 2007 went a long way in building his legend as a coach. There we go. San Francisco City Hall for you. Not lit up yet because it's not dark in the city, but they've been putting the red and gold floodlights for the 49ers on City Hall. That dome is taller than our nation's capital in Washington, D.C. That dome used to be the state capital of California as well. So a lot of history there. I believe that is real gold at the top. So you talk about the 49ers and gold being their color and gold being, symbolic of the 49ers, 1849, the gold rush. You have San Francisco City Hall, the rotunda, the dome that's taller than the nation's capital, and gold at the very top. How about that? Why don't we get rolling here? Good. We started to move. I'm not going to encourage the Waymo, which is the driverless car company, to run red lights, but I do want to encourage it to start moving when it is a green light. So they beat USC under Harbaugh in 2007. By 2010, Harbaugh had built Stanford into a perennial BCS power. Remember the BCS in college football? And I talk about him being the quarterback whisperer. Well, he got a no-name sophomore named Tavita Pritchard to beat Mark Sanchez and USC in that 2007 upset when Stanford was a 41-point underdog. But then he got Andrew Luck. Jim Harbaugh would tell me stories about driving across Texas, hours-long drives across Texas to recruit Landry Jones and Andrew Luck. Landry Jones ended up going to Oklahoma. Andrew Luck went to Stanford. And Andrew Luck obviously developed very, very well under Jim Harbaugh at Stanford. Then you had Harbaugh move to the 49ers in 2011. And Alex Smith hadn't been a good quarterback at all, even though he's the top draft pick. He had several years under different offensive coordinators for the 49ers, and it wasn't until Jim Harbaugh showed up that Alex Smith started delivering consistently efficient football. It was a big reclamation project. Obviously, Colin Kaepernick's best times came under Jim Harbaugh, and Colin Kaepernick's rise was meteoric in that 2012 season. But from 2012 to 2013, he played some high-level football. Even 2014, we saw some big runs from Colin Kaepernick, but that 2012 season especially, that was special. When Harbaugh went to Michigan, he struggled for quite some time to find true talent and stability and efficiency at the quarterback position. And that really caught me off guard. And, they're always good at Michigan. Maybe the COVID year, I think they had a losing record, but nobody cares about that. They were always good, but they seemed to be a quarterback away from being national champions and being great. And finally, he was able to get play that was good enough from J.J. McCarthy this year to win that national championship. So congratulations to Jim Harbaugh on the national championship. Now Jim Harbaugh is back in the NFL as the coach of the Chargers. Again, no, they do not play the 49ers next week. We have to get around a fire truck here. It looks like we're pulled over. Interesting. We will see how the driverless car handles this situation. This is curious to me. They're doing some work over here. The emergency vehicles are. Driverless car has decided to pull over to the side of the road. And, oh no, we're turning. Interesting. We have rerouted because we see this going on over here. So the car pulled over briefly to be safe. I think we're being a whole lot safer than a lot of the people passing this incident right here. And the car then recalculated. It says it's waiting for the intersection to clear. And we will be making a right turn as soon as possible to get out of this situation. Here we go. Very well done. Very well. Oh, there's a car accident over there. Very interesting. Okay. So there you go. The car, the driverless car has evaded the clog, and it's gotten out of the way of the emergency vehicles. I think that's a win for this driverless car that we're in right now. We're going around and we're going to be turning on Van Ness instead, as you can see here. This is my favorite part when the wheel turns. I mean, that's a lot of invisible torque being able to tug at that wheel. There we go. And we made it to Van Ness. We'll be arriving in 11 minutes. That's the history of Harbaugh. No 49ers Chargers games no 49ers Chargers game next regular season, but I'm interested to see what they do general manager wise. I know Tom Telesco, who's the Chargers former GM, is now in Las Vegas with the Raiders. So it's important for Jim Harbaugh to get a general manager who's on the same page as him. At the end of the day, that's what you need in the NFL. You need cohesion between the scouting department and the coaching staff. We know that Harbaugh is a really good coach. We can expect a good pairing with Justin Herbert. I think it was important for Jim Harbaugh to inherit some kind of talent at the quarterback position. We know that Herbert is talented, and I think that it's, when you look at Harbaugh's track record with Andrew Luck, with Josh Johnson before that at the University of San Diego, J.J. McCarthy here in Michigan. You see Alex Smith and Colin Kaepernick. You see a coach that's worked with all kinds of different quarterbacks, who's fired up a team, and I think that the Justin Herbert pairing could be very beneficial for both parties, for Jim Harbaugh and for Justin Herbert. So big NFL news. I'm in San Francisco, obviously, as I'm making my way up here to the Dolphin Club. 49ers intel today. The injury list is not long. Deebo Samuel is the only one on it for the 49ers right now. I mentioned it in the update earlier. He was sprinting off on the side, and he looked good doing it today. He wasn't practicing today. 49ers are keeping everything really close to the vest as far as Deebo Samuel's potential availability. Kyle Shanahan not even discussing really the nature of the injury. He mentioned the other day that the x-rays came back negative, that there was no hairline fracture in the shoulder, but that's all that we've heard from Kyle Shanahan. So today he didn't want to give away any more information that he had to. I think the 49ers are smart to keep it close to the vest. Deebo's obviously such a key component of what they do schematically because he's the receiver that can force a defense into a nickel package because of his speed and his route running ability. But also, once they're in a nickel package, he has power back-like capabilities. When you have power back-like capabilities, then you could punish a defense for being in that nickel package. So Deebo is tremendously talented and tremendously unique and impacts the game planning process in a profound way. I think that it hurt the 49ers big time that he obviously wasn't available on Saturday, but also became unavailable midstream. They had to change the way that they had planned for that whole game at the snap of a finger in the heat of battle. If they know or have an idea of how available Deebo Samuel will be earlier in the week, and I think the 49ers have an idea, but they're keeping it close to the vest, so this is not heading out to the Detroit Lions. If the 49ers know that, they're going to be much better equipped to withstand the loss of Deebo Samuel. It always starts, everything does, with the quarterback, with Brock Purdy, his ability to distribute the football. But it's not just that. It's also Brock Purdy's ability to cerebrally command the run game. I talk so much, but now it's been confirmed. I've talked about the 18 Mike play to Christian McCaffrey. That was a 39-yard touchdown. And I wrote a whole article about it, and there was a pitch straight back to Christian McCaffrey. But the more information we get about that play, the better Brock Purdy looks, because Brock Purdy actually canceled a motion. There was supposed to be a motion from the tight end, Charlie Werner, but Brock Purdy, a 24-year-old quarterback, is at that line in the heat of battle during a playoff game, electricity in the stadium, and he sees that play clock ticking down, and he says, no, stop the motion, stay there, because he realized that based on the defensive look that the Green Bay Packers were giving the 49ers on that play, he didn't need Charlie Werner to come in motion. He just needed him to help seal the outside linebacker. That's what he did. It was Werner and Kyle Juszczyk. And Christian McCaffrey on the straight back pitch built up enough of a head of steam to just plow through that line at lightning speed. And that meant that the 49ers could get the snap off sooner. And it was Brock Purdy who was pulling the strings, who was making the adjustment at the line of scrimmage, knowing what the defensive look was compared to what the 49ers had called offensively. So if you have to be a good puppeteer as a quarterback at the line of scrimmage. You need to know what strings to pull. You can get the play call, or you can get the play call options from your coordinator, or Kyle Shanahan, the play caller in this case, but you have to be able to administer how they're executed, and the quarterback is the last person with the power at the line of scrimmage to pull the necessary strings. So what Brock Purdy has done to cerebrally command the run game, not only over the course of this season, but also as a 24-year-old in a playoff game against the Packers where he wasn't throwing particularly well, the wet football, all the problems throughout the first 3.5 quarters, to be able to continue to execute that way in the run game, and to be able to bark at Charlie Werner and say, stay there, to me, that's some of Brock Purdy's most impressive work. And I talked to Jake Brendel, the 49ers center, about it in the locker room today. Brendel, too, I asked him, you guys see the 49ers mic'd up video where it was, I'd never seen him that vocal. Trent Williams was really vocal before the game. Jake Brendel was really vocal before the game. And I asked Jake about it, and he said, ever since I signed the bigger contract this past offseason, he's a quieter, more soft-spoken guy in general, but he says that he feels the responsibility to go out there and be a little bit more vocal, to be the guy that's rallying the troops, to get them in that mode. So I was impressed as hell with Brendel and his recognition of responsibility, and also the block that he made on that 18 Mike play. He had to take out the Mike linebacker because the 49ers are looking to just pierce the middle of that defense when they pitch straight back to McCaffrey. And Jake Brendel was ready to make that really difficult block that was needed. It goes back to what, the 49ers front office and targeting players who fit the scheme really well. This is where the cohesion between Shanahan and Lynch, which is something that Harbaugh is going to need in San Diego. I say San Diego out of protest because I know it's the LA Chargers, but come on, it should be the San Diego Chargers. Anyway, Harbaugh didn't have that cohesion amongst his front office when it was Trent Baalke with the 49ers, but the 49ers have this cohesion between scouting department and coaching staff so they could find guys like Jake Brendel. Chris Foerster coached Jake Brendel in Miami, and Foerster knew how athletic Brendel was. He had an amazing athleticism profile coming out of UCLA. And the 49ers, what their coaching staff needs for the outside zone game is these very, very athletic interior linemen to be able to reach block and get to the second level. Here comes a big turn. There we go. Yes. Now we go up Russian Hill. The best part is when these driverless cars go up the hill. Because they got some horsepower. They're electric, but they got some horsepower. But it's just fun. And now this guy in front of us, I don't know what he's doing, but he's blocking the road. And Mr. Driverless car right here, it safely gets around him. I am impressed with this performance. This driving performance has been really good today. There have been obstacles in the road. It hasn't been Well, look, this guy just running a stop sign in front of us. Are you kidding me? The guy running a stop sign. Human drivers are worse than AI. I mean, you just saw it. This guy ran a stop sign in front of us. He was being the more dangerous one, but Casper over here executed the situation better. What Casper did is he played like Brock Purdy. Stuff wasn't perfectly lined up for him. Deebo Samuel got hurt. It was raining. It's wet around here. This is a great Italian restaurant, by the way, Amarena. You got to check it out. Green and Larkin is the cross street. I used to live in this area, but stuff hadn't been perfect for this car ride. The situation has been a little hairy, kind of like it was for Brock Purdy and the 49ers on Saturday, but it looks like we're going to get the job done regardless. I don't want to speak too soon as we make the turn onto Hyde. This is Restaurant Row, Hyde, and we got cable car tracks here. So you will literally see this car go down the famous cable car tracks, where you can also see the Alcatraz shots, the Rice-A-Roni shot that we're making on the way here to the Dolphin Club. Good ice cream recommendation. Swenson's. This place is a classic, as you can tell from the neon lighting. Swenson's right here at Union and Hyde. This is an awesome area of town. Abruzzo is a tapas bar. Abruzzo's right there on the corner. Like I said, this is Restaurant Row in Russian Hill. And you're going to get great views around here, and you're going to get good ice cream, good food, maybe a driverless car sighting. If you're in the area, you can come and wave as we drive by. And maybe if we're lucky, we'll see a cable car to finish this drive. And if we could finish this drive just like Brock Purdy finished his drive against the Packers, then we're going to win the game. We're going to win the drive just like the 49ers won the game against Green Bay. All right, so this is about to get dramatic. We're about to hit Lombardi Street and the crest of Russian Hill. Look at us coming over the crest. That is Alcatraz in the distance. Now, I'm going to pan to the right so you could see North Beach. There's Coit Tower. Coit Tower is going to be lit up in red, too. They should light up Alcatraz in 49ers colors, but it's not city property. It's federal property. Oh, my God. We got the cable car coming over the crest. Look at that. That is the shot. That's the Rice-A-Roni shot. How lucky did we get to get the cable car coming over the crest? Now, if this white Chevy in front of me disappears in time, look, there you go. Cable car, Alcatraz, boom. That's what it's all about. And now we're on this is like you're riding a cable car with me. We're just rolling down the hill. It's good. Now, I hope our brakes work. Let's ask Casper, do the brakes work? And I don't see him depressing the brake at all. But if the brake doesn't work, then I'm in trouble, because this is one of the steepest hills in all of San Francisco. That's where I'm about to swim. That's Aquatic Park. Look how calm the bay looks today. Look at the Golden Gate Bridge, too. You could tell the rain clouds are starting to clear, which is the way that we like this. Are we going to run this light? No, we're going to slam the brake. Oh, man. That's actually a good move. Wouldn't want to run that light too aggressively. Jim Harbaugh to the Chargers. 49ers practicing today. No Deebo Samuel, but he was sprinting off on the side. That's looking like it's a good situation for the 49ers. I think that's progressing in the right way. I don't know if he's going to be available on Sunday or not. The 49ers aren't talking more than that, but it doesn't look like he's severely hurt, and I think that's the main thing to say. Other intel for you is that Kalia Davis, the defensive tackle, his practice window to come off of IR has been opened. So maybe the 49ers get a reinforcement there from the second-year defensive tackles. Got some good explosiveness on the inside. He was back out on that practice field today. With Davis, and that 49ers D-line, the defense as a whole has just got to be better than they have been. I know that they're bend but don't break against the Green Bay Packers, but ever since Talanoa Hufanga went down, this has been a pass defense that's ranked worse than number 20 in EPA. The defense as a whole is ranked number 22 ever since Hufanga went down. Week 12 onward, there have been a lot of missed tackles. It just hadn't been the dominant defense that we grew accustomed to seeing last year. 49ers need to step up the performance on that side of the ball significantly, especially against the run, against the Detroit team that is very, very good and effective at running the ball. Jahmyr Gibbs, I mean, that guy is a rocket. David Montgomery, 225 pounds. The 49ers are going to be strained on that side of the ball. I tend to believe that the 49ers will need to win this game with their offense because Detroit's weak on the defensive side of the football, especially against the pass. That's where their weakness is. They've given up 300 plus in several straight games. So we shall see. There's gonna be, look, we're passing another cable car. That's cool. We've almost made it to Aquatic Park. This is where the cable car turnaround is. Irish coffees, invented here, the Buena Vista. Check it out. I know I've done a show there before. And we make it to the South End Rowing Club and the Dolphin Club. They're right next to each other. South End's the one in red. It's our rival club. A little bit older. Dolphin Club's over here. I think we're pulling over. Yeah. Unless it could take me right in front of Dolphin. That would be awesome. Yeah. Let's make the turn. Take me right to the front door, Casper. I really appreciate it. There's Ghirardelli Square. This is the spot to stop. All right, thank you. Thank you to all of you. That's a 49ers update for you. Jim Harbaugh hired, Deebo Samuel recovering. We'll talk to you soon.